All right, guys, so we got another video for you today, and this one's called Integrity. This is a book review I'm gonna do. It's called Integrity, and this book went in a direction that I wasn't really expecting it to go. It's a little bit different. I'm gonna get straight into it. This first point is a little bit long, so bear with me on this one, okay? All right, here we go. Empathize and try and put yourself into the reality of people you're connecting with. Okay, empathize and try to put yourself into the reality of people you're connecting with. Listen here. Don't just provide solutions and ignore their feelings. This is getting interesting now. Empathy is when you step into someone's feelings and feel the same things as them in that moment to get a deeper understanding of what they're going through, okay? This is something that I've personally struggled with in a big way, okay? I'm a very solutions-based kind of guy. Like, I just want to fix things. If there's a problem, I will fix it. I want to fix it. I don't want to, talk much about the feelings. I just want to get to the solution. Let's fix the problem. Let's finish it off. And that's the way I've kind of been wired my whole life. But over here in this book, it talks a lot about empathy and actually trying to understand the human that's coming to you, let's say, with a problem, right? So a lot of guys, like, myself, like, when we hear a problem, the first thing that comes to mind is like, okay, let's offer a solution, let's get it out of the way. And what empathy is not doing that. It's actually acknowledging, the problem and trying to understand how the person you're talking to is feeling in that moment, trying to understand if what is the problem here? Like, what is making this person feel this way? And really just letting them know that you're there for them emotionally. And then after you've acknowledged those things, then you can come maybe with a solution to fix it if the solution is wanted. Because sometimes people don't actually want a solution. They just want you to empathize and just kind of be in this boat with them. They're like, I'm feeling bad, this is what happened. And you're like, okay, fix it, this and that. They just kind of want to be like, you know what, man, that actually does kind of suck. That sucks. And, I'm sorry that happened to you, kind of thing. Like, that's what some people want to hear. And that's how you really empathize with somebody is you try to really put yourself into their shoes. Like I said, this is something I've had a very difficult time doing. In my life, I'm just like, well, if there's a problem, let's just fix it. Let's get to a solution. I don't see what the issue is. But yeah, in this book, it also talks about even if you don't agree with a certain something, like you don't agree why somebody's feeling a certain way, you can still empathize with them because their feelings are always valid. Regardless if, they're feeling, if it's something completely irrational, you think it's something insanely irrational, this person's feelings about that thing are still valid if you care about that person. And again, this is something that's been challenging for me, something I've been trying to, implement more into my life, but it's definitely a work in progress. And yeah, it's definitely a work in progress, to say the least. And so let's get into the next couple of points here. This is one I really like here, okay? Good is the enemy of the best, okay? Good is the enemy of the best. If you want to be the best, you cannot be good. You get what you tolerate in life. If you tolerate average or good, then that's exactly what you will get, okay? And this is something Tony Robbins talks about in his seminars as well. You get in your life what you tolerate. If you can tolerate an average life, an average everything, that's exactly what you're gonna get, okay? If you don't have any tolerance for that and you wanna live at a higher standard, then you're gonna do that, okay? So think about your tolerance levels. What do you tolerate in your life that you shouldn't be tolerating? What do you have in your life where you're like, you know what? I really should not be tolerating this. I want a better, situation than what this is. Whether that be your body, whether that be your emotions, whether that be your finances, whatever it is, you get what you tolerate, okay? If you don't tolerate it, if you get to a point where you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna tolerate this anymore, then things start to change and they start to go up from there, okay? So raise your standards in life, in every area of your life, if you want to, okay? If you want to, you know, only if you want to, okay? Number 3, this is always, you know, a magic one for success, in my opinion, okay? I'm gonna read it in a second, but I have a video on this channel and it talks about the number 1 secret that successful people have. And this is very tied in with that here, okay? If you haven't watched that video, definitely go watch it. Find it on the channel. The number 1 secret that successful people have, okay? So number 3 here. Pain is not something to be avoided, okay? It's the necessary price to pay to get what you want in life. You should not be avoiding pain, okay? You should be welcoming the pain in because you need that. It's the necessary price to pay to get where you want to go in life. If you avoid pain, you get more suffering and pain in your life. You cannot avoid pain. You can't. You cannot do it. So stop trying to do it. You literally will get more of it. If you try to avoid it, you will get more of it, okay? Whatever you actively avoid, I'll tell you something that's very important here at the end of this video here. Whatever it is in your life that you're actively avoiding, that means something that you're consciously avoiding on purpose. It's in your mind. You're consciously avoiding it. You're like, you know what? I'm going to avoid doing this because it brings me a lot of pain. The more you avoid doing it, the worse that fear is going to build up in your mind. It's going to be worse and worse and worse. Okay? I'll give you an example. I always talk about my public speaking stuff. Like when I was in junior high school and stuff, like 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, all that stuff, I would always, for some reason, like I didn't like public speaking when I was younger. I didn't like it at all. I didn't want to do it. I would get really nervous. I didn't want to go up in front of the classroom. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. Okay, nothing. I would start to shake and like kids would make fun of me and stuff. So I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do it at all. Okay, and what happened was I remember there was one day. This is a funny story actually. there was one day where I had a public speaking thing to do. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to crush it. You know, I was like, I'm ready for the speech, whatever it is. Like, it was like 9th grade or something like that. You know, I don't know how old we are in 9th grade, like 14 or something like that. 15, I don't know. But anyways, so in my old house, we had a little, kind of like this little thing that you open. It's like I don't even know what to call it. You open it and there's a bunch of liquor in there. That's where my dad kept all the liquor. It was like in this little like cabinet kind of thing, but it wasn't really a cabinet. So he kept all the liquor in there. So in the morning I decided, you know what? I'm going to get hammered. I'm going to get so drunk, and then I'm going to, you know, be more comfortable as I do this public speaking thing. So I remember that morning, I don't remember exactly how much I drank, but I drank a lot. I got hammered. I drank some shots. I was just smashing liquor, and like I got to school like wobbling around, like so I got to school just wobbling around. And then little that I realized, because I guess that was one of the first few times that I've had a lot to drink. I'm sure I drank before that too, but it was one of the times where I had like, you know, quite a bit to drink. And what I failed to realize is that this drunk is gonna wear off. The class was in 4th or 5th period, which is about 4 hours into the day. And I realized that I was beginning to sober up as this class came about, where I had to do the public speaking. And again, so what I did is I literally did not go to the class. I did not go to it. And so what happens when you do that, when you avoid these things that you're scared of, the more you avoid them, the more you're scared of them. And I'll tell you why. It's because when you avoid them, your subconscious is thinking, there's a reason why this guy's avoiding this. This must be really dangerous, okay? That's what your mind is thinking without you even realizing it. You will not even realize it. But I promise you, whatever you've avoided in your life, whatever you've avoided, it doesn't matter what it is. You've avoided a certain something. the more you actively avoid it, you're consciously avoiding it. You're like, I don't want to be in this situation. The more your mind is like, that situation must be terrifying because I'm avoiding it at all costs. And you get even more scared of it, and it becomes even a more difficult thing to break. It's kind of like this weird cycle. So whatever you're afraid of, you should never, ever avoid it. You should do what I call incremental, I forget the word I use, incremental exposure, let's call it. Incremental exposure. Like if you're scared of public speaking, just do like one thing. You know, when I first went to Toastmasters, when I first signed up for Toastmasters, before I did improv class and all this stuff, you know, when I was at Toastmasters, the one thing we would do in the beginning of the class, you know, everyone would stand up one by one, and you would have to stand up, and you know, when it's your turn, like, okay, now it's your turn, now it's your turn. Each person stands up. You say your name, my name is, and then you, for like 30 seconds, or however long you want, 15 seconds to like a minute or two, you basically say why you're here. What are you doing here? You know, my name is Jack. I'm here because I'm working on my public speaking, or I want to get over the fear of public speaking, or whatever it may be. And, you know, I remember the first time I did that, even that was just so terrifying. I felt like I was gonna die. Like I literally felt I was gonna die, like doing that, because I had avoided this public speaking thing, you know, in class. And the more you avoid it, like I said, your subconscious is like, wow, this guy is avoiding this. This must be dangerous and terrifying. So now it's more terrifying until you start to break that pattern of thinking. And it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, okay? All of it is bullshit. It's all bullshit. There's nothing to be afraid of when you're public speaking. But that doesn't stop you from feeling that fear sometimes, right? Like I said, when you Google it, public speaking is the number one fear. Number one. Above death. Above snakes and tigers and shit like that. Public speaking is number one fear for humans. Isn't that insane? Even though there's no actual real danger to it, you're not gonna die. It's impossible. You know, it's impossible. It's because us humans, like being humans, we want to fit in. We want to be a part of the crowd. And if we make an embarrassment out of ourselves, like we're public speaking and people are laughing at us, we're embarrassing ourselves in some way, for us, like as humans, like our old brains, that's terrifying to us. That's absolutely terrifying to us. But you can break out of that as long as you have that incremental exposure. You slowly expose yourself and you put yourself into those situations that bring you the pain or are triggering something inside you. Something's triggered inside of you. Okay, you have that pain, like, go do that. Because the more you do that, then the more you're just gonna kind of get to a place where you can relax a little bit about that, you know, that's certain something that you've been avoiding, okay? So I hope this video helps you guys. And if you guys have any, you know, personal experiences with any of this stuff, whether you have trouble with the empathy, whether there's a certain something you've been avoiding and you want to talk to me about it, comment. If you're on Team 651, just hit me up on Skype if you want it to be something that's not public or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.